A very good morning. It is Monday, January 5th, 2026. Welcome to Mornings with Ken Rosato. We are live on both the East Coast in New Jersey and the New York City metropolitan area. And as of right now, today, we're also live in Southern California throughout the Los Angeles area, now on LACA. Our phone lines are open no matter where you are in the country, 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the weather near you.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
Well, we've had some seriously heavy rains in Southern California with back-to-back winter storms, but things may be starting to dry out today. And then, of course, things are much calmer in New Jersey. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning to you, Ken. Yeah, there are a tale of two coasts, giving us vastly different weather conditions, especially where you tend to see this time of year, with the obviously very cold winter scene across most of the Northeast. That's keeping some clouds around for early this morning. A little bit of light snow on the way over the Great Lakes after a seiche, or a gust of wind that created the water levels from Lake Erie to drop about 6 feet over on the Ohio side and rise on the New York State side there by Buffalo by 6 feet, just because that wind direction pushing all of the waters of the lake along the shore. And then, of course, over in northwestern section of California, you have the very heavy rains coming in after LA gets a chance to dry out after so much wet weather over the last few days. Well, the good news about this new temperature trend this week is we have increasing temperatures across most of the country. And if you don't feel it yet, just wait a few days. You'll begin to feel that very above average temperature work its way across the country. Today, it's all about that subtropical jet stream pushing in the warmer air across the desert Southwest and then allowing for that temperature to really spike throughout the course of the day. And look how it spreads eastward, even into the mid-Atlantic as soon as tomorrow, helping temperatures rise very quickly over the next few days. I think by Wednesday here in New Jersey, we'll begin to feel that warmer weather as well. A quick check of the airports across the East Coast. We're doing okay. No weather worries throughout this afternoon as the winds are rather calm. Just a few clouds around. All green across the Northeast. You see a little bit of those areas of blue indicating the snow. Those are those flurries that'll work its way across the Northeast over the next few days. So the bigger picture, again, showing that system entering Michigan and the Great Lakes and scooting off to the north over the next few hours. We'll talk more about what to expect over the next few days with a longer range futurecast, Ken, for the nation. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. And right now we take a look at traffic. We have some traffic highlights for you, both in the New Jersey, New York area and also in Los Angeles. We start out in New Jersey. We have a crash on 1 and 9 Tenley Avenue northbound, north of Secaucus Road, North Bergen Township. The left lane is closed. Let's take that shot, Pam, if we can, of the Garden State Parkway right now. We have a crash. Garden State Parkway northbound, exit 153 by Route 3 in Clifton. And you can see just some taillights there starting. So it's not causing massive problems yet, but nonetheless, that will build until that's taken care of. Again, that is the Garden State Parkway northbound, exit 153 by Route 3 in Clifton. The right shoulder is blocked. We have a crash on 78. The local lanes eastbound at exit 57, 1 and 9 in Newark. The right lane is closed there. And a crash on 295 southbound at exit 56, 206 in Mansfield Township. The left lane of 3 lanes closed there. Let's mention LA, and then we'll go back to the bridge crossings in New York. Right now, we have lane closures on the Antelope Valley Freeway in Lancaster, ongoing construction there. The Caltrans Freeway Enhancement Project on 605 to improve commuter travel and freight movement continues. You know about that if you live in LA. Overnight lane closures along the 405 through the Sepulveda Pass for pavement rehabilitation. Highway 101 crews continue to work at the Wildlife Crossing. And then back to the New York, New Jersey tri-state area. We look at the crossings into the city. Lincoln and Holland tunnels are both reporting 20 minutes. Not too bad right now. We look at the GWB upper and lower levels, 80-95 into New York, and you can see bumper to bumper right now. Pretty heavy for this hour of the morning, making your way into New York. But you can see the sun is starting to rise a little earlier. Each day it's a minute earlier. So now things are looking a little clearer as you make your way in at this hour. Soon you'll have bright sunshine at this hour of the morning. 7:05 East Coast, 4:05 West Coast right now. And of course, the biggest story this Monday, former Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro is scheduled to make his first federal court appearance in Manhattan at noon today on long-standing narco-terrorism charges, prompting hundreds of thousands of Venezuelan refugees the world over to celebrate in the streets. This follows his dramatic capture over the weekend in a bold U.S. military operation dubbed Absolute Resolve. President Trump says the U.S. will temporarily oversee Venezuela's government and vast oil industry to ensure stability. Maduro and his wife arrived in New York amid tight security over the weekend, facing indictments tied to drug trafficking. Critics on the left raised questions about presidential powers and a lack of congressional approval, while supporters praise it as a long, strong stand against threats. International reactions are mixed, with several nations calling it a precedent-setting move. But is it really? Think back in 1999, then President George H.W. Bush took out Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega without congressional consultation. Nobody protested. On October 20th, 2011, then President Obama killed Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi. He never consulted Congress, not a negative word from Democrats. In 2013, then President Obama killed 4 U.S. citizens in a drone attack in the Middle East, arguing it was justified because it was part of our war on terror. They never had a day in court. No congressional permission, not a word from Democrats. January 2025, just before leaving office, then President Biden nearly doubled the bounty to capture Nicolas Maduro, offering $25 million for his capture or death. He even bragged about it, saying Trump wasn't as serious as he was in wanting to take out Maduro. No negative words from Democrats. Also, Chuck Schumer a year ago saying that Democrats were serious about going after Maduro and Trump was not. January 2026, President Trump finally does exactly what Joe Biden said he wanted to do, and the left calls it illegal. Really? Maduro illegally seized power and is responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people, not only in the United States, but in his own country. In the U.S. from drug overdoses, in his country from capture and assassination because they disagreed with him politically. If you or I sold drugs on the streets, we'd be arrested. Maduro sold drugs here. In fact, his son flew in tons of cocaine on his private jet to Miami International. They are drug dealers, and they have now been arrested. In the process, millions of Venezuelans the world over are cheering for what they hope will be a new chapter in their once prosperous nation. Mainstream media is amazing about this. The Trump administration pulls off what is just arguably the most brilliant clandestine military operation in history. And Margaret Brennan of CBS's Face the Nation asks Secretary of State Marco Rubio what is arguably the dumbest question of anyone who's ever called themselves a journalist. Watch this.
He's still in place. The defense minister, who has deep ties to Russia, $15 million price on his head, he is still in place. I'm confused. Are they still wanted by the United States? Why didn't you arrest them if you are taking out the narco-terrorist regime?
You're confused? I don't know why that's confusing to you.
They're still in power.
It's very simple. You're not going to go in and wrap up. But you can't go. You're going to go in and suck up 5 people. They're already complaining about this one operation. Imagine the howls we would have from everybody else if we actually had to go and stay there 4 days to capture 4 other people. We got the top priority. The number one person on the list was the guy who claimed to be the president of the country that he was not. And he was arrested along with his wife, who was also indicted. And that was a pretty sophisticated and frankly complicated operation.
It was.
It is not easy to land helicopters in the middle of the largest military base in the country. The guy lived on a military base. Land within 3 minutes, kick down his door, grab him, put him in handcuffs, read him his rights, put him in a helicopter, and leave the country without losing any American or any American assets. That's not an easy mission. And you're asking me, why didn't we do that in 5 other places at the same time? I mean, that's absurd.
That is absurd. In fact, you kind of think that in the back of Marco Rubio's head, he wanted to go like that. That is absurd. Clearly, Margaret is trying to prove that the administration did not go after Maduro because he was a drug trafficker, because if that was their mission, then why didn't they go after the other 2 billion individuals in Venezuela who are drug traffickers? Are you serious, Margaret? Let's see. In New York City, there are thousands of drug dealers, yet the NYPD can only investigate and arrest about 100 a year. They are in this nation, so you would think it would be easy. Why don't you ask the NYPD commissioner why she hasn't arrested the other thousands of drug criminals if the intent was to go after drug dealers for real as a police department? Margaret, you couldn't mask your left-wing ignorance if your life depended on it. By the way, our phone lines are open. If anybody would like to give us a call and disagree, we will put you on the air, and you can do so East Coast or West Coast, 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. That is the difference in this show. It's an open forum. We give opinion with our news, and if you disagree, you are welcome to call in and voice your opinion, and we will respectfully put you on the air, 888-658-0234. It is 10 minutes after the hour. Federal authorities announced over the weekend they thwarted a potential ISIS-inspired terror attack planned for New Year's Eve in North Carolina. An 18-year-old from Mint Hill, just outside Charlotte, named Christian Sturdivant, was arrested on December 31st, now faces federal charges of attempting to provide material support to a foreign terrorist organization, ISIS. Officials say quick action by the FBI and local law enforcement prevented what could have been a deadly knife and hammer assault targeting a local grocery store and a fast food restaurant. The Justice Department says Sturdivant had been planning the attack for a year. Investigators found a handwritten manifesto titled New Year's Attack 2026 when they searched his property. But again, this could have been much, much worse. Obviously, they got the man. Nobody was hurt in the process. New restrictions on SNAP benefits took effect in 5 states over the weekend. The first USDA-approved waivers banning food stamps from being used on sugary sodas, candy, and energy drinks. States like Nebraska are leading the way, aiming to encourage healthier eating among low-income families and reduce bad eating. Mortgage rates are kicking off 2026 on a stable note, giving potential home buyers a bit of breathing room after last year's ups and downs. Experts predict modest changes ahead, influenced by Fed decisions and economic data. If you are house hunting, now would be a good window to do so. And Arizona's booming semiconductor industry is making headlines with Taiwan Semiconductor's massive Phoenix campus, the largest foreign direct investment in U.S. history, creating thousands of high-tech jobs, strengthening national supply chains. This push reduces reliance on overseas chips amid global tensions, boosting everything from electronics to autos. Local leaders say it is transforming the economy. 13 minutes past the hour. When we return, we will have lots more for you. New Jersey has a new minimum wage. We're going to talk about that. And that is coming up just in time, of course, to pay for the New Jersey new gas tax. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato on the East Coast and the West Coast. We're coming right back.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
A very good morning to you. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato for your Monday, 15 minutes past the hour. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
Good morning to you, Mike. Hope you had a nice little break over the holidays. Now it's back to the grind.
It is the grind and a lot of caffeine this morning. I mean, it just took the espresso plus the extra caffeinated tea to kind of wake you up on a first day back. And yes, back to the grind, back to school for many, back to work. And here we are with a little bit of that winter chill that doesn't last very long. So last year, just 6 days ago, we were talking about how there will be a much of a shorter winter, allowing for the cold that we experienced here in the Northeast and of course in New Jersey. That made for a very chilly and early start to winter, but now that seems to be wrapping up and there's a milder trend ahead in the next few days, and that may last into the next few weeks with some milder weather as well. So starting off with some clouds this morning, most of the snow is locked up over the real wintry part of the country right now, the upper Midwest, and that should slide all across to the north and east over upstate New York over the next day or so. As far as the rest of the country, plan on Oh, I had a nice animation there. Okay, let's go back. Plan on most of that clear sky to take over for the next few days, allowing for lots of milder weather there in the Midwest with lots of sunshine as well. And then as we head to the West Coast, we'll see a lot of folks dry out over the coming days. Even though it's been very wet over the last few days there, especially across the LA area, you see those showers now entering the picture. They won't be for much longer. Up in the Pacific Northwest, some of those showers at least continue through tomorrow and maybe even into Wednesday, as another system rolls on in there across northern sections of California and north of San Francisco. So this will continue at least through the end of the day today with a very weak upper level system. Usually there's a lot of wind associated with these, and that'll take over, I think, and finally wrap up over the course of tomorrow and Wednesday. So back to the upper Midwest, where the snow chances are quite high after so much wind over the last few days, now socked with a little bit of wintry weather. And as that system works its way eastward, picks up a little bit of cold air, and you see some of that sleet and rain shown in the orange and green, and then of course the shades of blue as it gets colder and moves across upstate New York. All of that wintry weather stays north of New Jersey, but right there on the Canadian border, we'll see those conditions last going into tomorrow and exit by Wednesday. Just a few clouds around New Jersey for this morning, but we'll tell you more about what to expect with your future cast over the next few days. Coming up, Ken, in just a few minutes.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. We check traffic in the area right now. We have a lot of it. New Jersey, of course, is in the thick of prime time for traffic. LA, not so much. It's very light there, but we'll do New Jersey traffic, and then I'll tell you about what's going on overnight in LA. First of all, we have a crash on the Garden State Parkway right now. This is northbound, north of Toms River Toll Plaza in Toms River Township. All lanes open there. But Pam, if you have the other crash on the Garden State Parkway, this is Garden State Parkway just northbound, north of exit 148 in Bloomfield. Do we have that? There we go. You can see yeah, that's pretty good. A little fog there too, and you can see that's impacting traffic. It's a little on the slow side, not awful, but nonetheless, this is in Bloomfield, exit 148 northbound on the Garden State Parkway there. We have a crash on Route 22 westbound by Washington Avenue, Greenbrook Township. The left lane is closed, and a crash on I-78 local lanes. That's by exit 57, Route 21 Newark, with the right lane closed. Now to the Hudson River crossings in the New York, New Jersey area. Lincoln Tunnel and Holland both reporting 25 minutes into Manhattan, all due to volume. And now we have issues on the GWB. There's a disabled tractor trailer on the George Washington Bridge. Look at the result. Upper level eastbound approaching the toll plaza in Fort Lee. So the upper level is going to be the right. You see the big tractor trailer on the right side? So that tractor trailer, those lanes are going into where there is now a disabled tractor trailer as they get toward the toll plaza. That's going to slow things down. Look at the lower level on the left. It's not moving at all. So we're told now it's already 45 minutes into Manhattan. If you take the GWB upper or lower levels, they each have their own issues. And this just popped up too. We have a crash on the Garden State southbound at exit 131B, Metro Park and Woodbridge. 3 3 right lanes are blocked. That is a big deal. Over to the West Coast we go right now. In Los Angeles, we have lane closures on the Antelope Valley Freeway in Lancaster with ongoing construction there. The Caltrans Freeway Enhancement Project on 605 to improve commuter travel and freight movement is ongoing. Overnight lane closures along the 405 through the Favetta Pass for pavement rehab. And on Highway 101, crews continue to work the Wildlife Crossing. And that is a check of traffic. At 20 minutes past the hour in news, several new state laws are now in effect in New Jersey, impacting your wallet and daily life. The minimum wage in New Jersey has risen to $15.92 an hour for most workers. That is a 43-cent increase, with seasonal and small business employees seeing a bump to $15.23. Every place in America where the minimum wage goes up, every time, what happens is people end up getting laid off. Companies do more with less. They use automation, and they end up just dealing with fewer employees. So I guarantee state of New Jersey will see a bump in unemployment while fewer people make more money. That's what happens every single time. But Democrats love to sell that, saying, you deserve more money. So they give you a higher minimum wage, and in the process, they have to lay off the other 2 people working with you because they can't afford to pay everybody the same rate. At the same time, you as the consumer will pay higher rates for the product you buy. You want to buy a Big Mac? Now the Big Mac is going to cost that much more to produce. Everybody thinks this money comes from heaven. It doesn't. 21 past the hour. New Jersey's gasoline tax is officially increased by 4.1 cents a gallon as of last Thursday, pushing tax to nearly 50 cents a gallon for gas and over 56 cents a gallon for diesel. That makes New Jersey's gas tax the 7th highest in the United States. State Treasury officials say the hike is necessary to meet the $2.1 billion annual requirement for the Transportation Trust Fund, funding repairs for roads and bridges and mid-declining fuel consumption from electric vehicles and remote work trends. So listen to what that says. Because you obeyed them, you obeyed the leftists in Trenton and used less gas, they are now penalizing you by charging you a higher gas tax. You see how that works? So they're telling you use less gas, help the environment. You use less gas, then they charge you more tax for the gas that you are using because they say, oh, now we're not getting as much money in gas tax because you're not using as much. That's Democrat logic for you. Combined with the toll increases on highways and bridges, and commuters are really getting pinched. It is a massive burden to working families. So just as President Trump has worked to lower gas prices, Trenton Democrats have raised gas prices by hiking the state tax. So you will not notice the president's lower gas prices. Keep voting Democrat, New Jersey and California. You'll get lots more of that. As for the highway tolls in New Jersey, they're now up as well. The New Jersey Turnpike and Garden State Parkway tolls are up by 3%. Delaware River Bridge crossings are up with the Easy Pass price now at $2 for cars. Port Authority bridges and tunnels add another layer with peak Easy Pass tolls nearing $17. You hear that, California? In New Jersey, if you want to get into New York and the Lincoln, the Holland, the GWB, it's now $17. $17 one time to get in. And they say it with a straight face. Lawmakers claim these toll hikes fund massive capital plans for maintenance and improvements. So if the toll hikes fund that, what are the enormous gas taxes doing? And the property taxes and the state income taxes? Aren't those supposed to be paying for the road improvements? Democrats never give you a straight answer. Meanwhile, Democrat Mikey Sherrill will be sworn in on January 20th as New Jersey's next governor. Sherrill nabbed 56% of the vote, highlighting big divides across the state. According to NJ.com, Sherrill dominated in several communities, earning over 90% in 8 predominantly Black and Hispanic communities, including 95.4% in both Lawnside and East Orange, and more than 91% in places like Irvington, Camden, and Trenton. On the flip side, Republican Jack Ciattarelli swept Lakewood in Ocean County with 90% of the vote there and took 87% in Deal, Monmouth County. Sherrill's strong performance in Essex County came despite Republican gains in party registration during outgoing Governor Phil Murphy's term. 24 past the hour, and when Mikey Sherrill is sworn in, it'll mark the first time since 1961 that one political party has won 3 terms in a row in the state. In a break from tradition, Sherrill will be sworn in as New Jersey's 57th governor, not in the state capital of Trenton, but in Newark's Performing Arts Center. That's the first time that will have happened in 235 years. Cheryl will become the state's second female governor and the first Democratic woman to hold the office. She calls Newark, her home county of Essex and the Garden State's largest city, the perfect place to begin her administration. Cheryl's inaugural ball will be held on the ice skating rink at American Dream in East Rutherford. The black tie event will feature food from all 21 counties in the state. 25 past the hour. Today marks the somber anniversary of the January 2025 wildfires that ravaged parts of LA County. Community events and volunteer opportunities are underway to honor victims, support recovery efforts, and highlight ongoing risks amid the current rainy season that has brought both relief and new flood concerns to burn areas. And authorities have now identified 2 of the 3 hikers found dead last week on Mount Baldy in San Gabriel Mountains. The San Bernardino County Sheriff Department announced Saturday the men are Juan Serrat Lopez, age 37, and Byron Pedro Ramos Garcia, both age 36, I should say, born Guatemalan nationals residing in L.A. The third hiker previously identified was 19-year-old Marcus Alexander Munch Casanova of Seal Beach, a Santa Clara University freshman and avid outdoorsman who fell about 500 feet near the treacherous Devil's Backbone Trail on December 29th. Rescue crews discovered Lopez and Garcia during the search for Casanova. The 3 were not hiking together. High winds hampered initial recovery efforts, and several trails, including Devil's Backbone, remain closed amid ongoing winter hazards by that mountain. It's really a mess, and you should try to avoid traveling there if you can. In Hollywood news, the 31st Critics' Choice Awards concluded last night in Santa Monica, hosted by Chelsea Handler. The film Sinners dominated with multiple wins, while early television honors went to Sarah Snook for Best Actress in a Limited Series. It is 28 minutes past the hour, and when we come back on mornings, right here on your special channel LACA, which we now have for West Coast, and on New Jersey on the East Coast, we'll have our coverage of the capture of former Venezuelan dictator and alleged drug cartel head Nicolas Maduro, and we will take your calls at 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. For those of you new to the show, in the middle of our news, we give commentary and we will take your calls. So if you disagree, agree, whatever you'd like to say, 888-658-0234. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato live on both coasts, and we will be back in just 2 minutes. Don't go away.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Good morning to you. 30 minutes past the hour, Monday, January 5th. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. Our phone lines are open, 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast for your area.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
A very good morning to you, Mike. So kind of light and easy on the East Coast, but they've had a real mess of flooding rains. It's like half a year's worth of rain in a few days on the West Coast.
So much rain. I just told Pam, our director of the show, I said, Pam, I feel like I'm running on a 3-hour delay here. You know, is it the morning back trying to get back into the grind, or is it just, oh no, it's because we're airing also in California this morning live. So good morning to our West Coast friends. There are plenty of showers out for California throughout the course of today, but there will be some drying trends over the next few days as our weather looks to be a little bit more of a seasonable feel, an improvement as we get to the middle of the week. As of now, across the East Coast and even for New Jersey, we have some of those clouds around, but over the next few days, you'll notice dry weather take over and warmer weather through much of the country later on this week. Even out west, you dry out as well. So the showers that continue throughout today across the LA area, there's a little bit of a trough that happens with a jet stream when we typically have these slow moving systems kind of linger over the area. That will provide a little bit more of that wet weather until tomorrow, and then we start to dry things out, so it'll look much better. But look at how steady and how quiet the pattern is with this line that almost goes flat across the country. It's the pulse of a nation, and in this case, the jet stream is flatlining, meaning that the weather is very quiet over the next few days, allowing for the warm weather to stay down south, the cold weather to stay up north. No big Arctic outbreaks, but there will be some milder weather as that Pacific air stretches across the country over the next few days. Even the futurecast from the east to the west, we stay clear with a clearing drier trend across the east. There's that system going across the Midwest through tomorrow, exiting by upstate New York by the end of the day. And then throughout Wednesday and Thursday, we'll start to see a little bit of a interesting scenario by the middle of the week, especially into Thursday, that takes over across the Midwest. But look at the West Coast, we dry out. There's that sunshine for Southern California. It takes a few days, but we get there, and I think it'll look much more pleasant as we head into Friday and look ahead into the future with some very dry weather. So all that clear sky across the Midwest works its way east. Will stay nice and dry throughout the East Coast. There's some of the wet weather developing, but it takes a few days, and then we dry things out again across the West Coast by Thursday. Looking very pleasant, Ken, as we head into this weekend. We'll tell you more about that with the longer range trend coming up in a few minutes. Let you know how the rest of January looks with our temperature outlook coming up in a few minutes.
And then somebody will call, I'm having a wedding on the 28th at 2 p.m. Can you tell me in Butler, New Jersey, exactly what the temperature will be? That's where our California friends, they're going to say, what? That's what they do there?
And there's a Buttsville,
yeah.
New Jersey, just to make it a little more confusing too. So all these fun towns that we'll share over the coming weeks.
How would you like to live
it's a
in
real
Buttsville?
town in New Jersey.
Well, it sounds, I mean, for years I lived in Nutley or next to Nutley, so that sounds silly enough, I guess. Why not? Why not at Buttsville? All right, Mike, thank you very much. We'll check back with you, sir. In terms of traffic, we're going to give you East Coast and West Coast. West Coast, obviously, it's only 4:34 in the morning, so there's not a lot of traffic there. So we'll start with New Jersey area. Let's look at the Garden State Parkway right now. This is a mess. We have a crash on the Garden State Parkway southbound at exit 131B Metro Park in Woodbridge. 3 right lanes blocked. Look at what you got on the left side there. As a result, absolute mess. Also on the Garden State Parkway, we have a crash northbound north of Toms River Toll Plaza in Toms River. All lanes are open, though, for them. We have a crash on 78 local lanes eastbound at exit 57, Route 21 in Newark. The right lane is closed there, and that's causing the delays you see on your screen. The Hudson River Crossings, Lincoln Tunnel is now 35 minutes in. Holland is only 25. GWB, we have a disabled, disabled tractor trailer. It is on the upper level eastbound approaching the New Jersey Toll Plaza in Fort Lee. Left lane is blocked. So that's the upper level on the right, lower on the left. I don't mean to chuckle. I don't think either one is moving an inch. And no, your picture is not frozen. You could see traffic in the other direction. That is just a mess. And we're told that is 50 minutes into Manhattan now. So you have the luxury and pleasure of paying $17 to wait in 50 minutes of traffic, for then the luxury of getting into Manhattan and going below 60th Street and paying another congestion pricing toll. Yay, commute into Manhattan. It is now 35 minutes past the hour. We look at LA traffic for those on the West Coast. Right now, we just have these alerts and advisories. Lane closures on the Antelope Valley Freeway in Lancaster with ongoing construction. Caltrans Freeway enhancement on the 605 to improve commuter travel and freight movement. Overnight lane closures along the 405 through the Sepulveda Pass for pavement rehab, and Highway 101 crews continue to work at the wildlife crossing. So that is what's happening in Southern California. The biggest story this morning on this Monday, former Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro is scheduled to make his first federal court appearance in Manhattan at noon today on long-standing narco-terrorism charges, prompting hundreds of thousands of Venezuelan refugees the world over to celebrate in the streets. This follows his dramatic capture over the weekend in a bold U.S. military operation dubbed Absolute Resolve. President Trump says the U.S. will temporarily oversee Venezuela's government and vast oil industry to ensure stability. Maduro and his wife arrived in New York amid tight security, facing indictments tied to drug trafficking. Critics on the left raised questions about presidential powers and a lack of congressional approval, while supporters praise it as a strong stand against threats. International reactions are mixed, with several nations calling it a precedent-setting move. Let me point something out, though. Nearly half of the planet Earth does not recognize this guy as the president of Venezuela. Half of the Earth, the United States, Canada, Europe, they all say he was not the president, the duly elected president, yet so many of the liberals in those areas are screaming that this was not a justified move. Well, if he's not the president and these people are screaming for help, hundreds of thousands have been killed or imprisoned. You have 4 to 5 million Venezuelans who fled the country and gone to the rest of the world as refugees. And now you're saying this is a precedent-setting move? Well, in 1999, George H.W. Bush took out Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega. And Noriega, he did not have congressional consultation. Nobody protested on either side. October 20th, 2011, then President Obama killed Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi. No consulting of Congress. 2013, Obama killed 4 U.S. citizens in a drone attack in the Middle East, saying it was justified because it was part of our war on terror. No congressional permission. Democrats didn't say a word. Then last January, just before leaving office, then President Biden nearly doubled the bounty to capture Maduro, offering $25 million for his capture or death. And Chuck Schumer said that Trump did nothing to capture Maduro, and we need to be tough on him. They bragged about the Democrats and how they're going to deal with Maduro. Well, in this case, Trump did something. President Trump did exactly what Biden said he wanted to do, and the left calls it illegal. Really? Maduro illegally seized power and is responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Americans from drug overdoses. If you or I sold drugs, we would be arrested. Maduro sold drugs here. His son flew in tons of cocaine in his private jet to Miami International. They are drug dealers. They've now been arrested. In the process, millions of Venezuelans the world over are cheering for what they hope will be a new chapter in their once prosperous nation. Caracas was a beautiful city at one point. Meanwhile, mainstream media is amazing. The Trump administration pulls off this arguably most brilliant clandestine military operation in history. Margaret Brennan of CBS's Face the Nation asks Secretary of State Marco Rubio what is arguably the dumbest question of anybody who's ever called themselves a journalist. Check this out.
He's still in place. The defense minister, who has deep ties to Russia, $15 million price on his head, he is still in place. I'm confused. Are they still wanted by the United States? Why didn't you arrest them if you are taking out the narco-terrorist regime?
You're confused? I don't know why that's confusing to you.
They're still in power.
It's very simple. You're not going to go in and wrap up. But you can't go. You're going to go in and suck up 5 people. They're already complaining about this one operation. Imagine the howls we would have from everybody else if we actually had to go and stay there 4 days to capture 4 other people. We got the top priority. The number one person on the list was the guy who claimed to be the president of the country that he was not. and he was arrested along with his wife, who was also indicted. And that was a pretty sophisticated and frankly complicated operation.
It was.
It is not easy to land helicopters in the middle of the largest military base in the country. The guy lived on a military base. Land within 3 minutes, kick down his door, grab him, put him in handcuffs, read him his rights, put him in a helicopter, and leave the country without losing any American or any American assets. That's not an easy mission. And you're asking me, why didn't we do that in 5 other places at the same time? I mean, that's absurd.
Yeah, it sure is absurd. Basically, she's saying, and there was a guy on 4th Street who was once arrested for smoking pot. Why didn't you arrest him too? Are you that stupid? Really? Clearly, what she's trying to say is you're not really going after them because of drug dealing. You're going after them for regime change. That's what she's suggesting in that stupid question, because I don't think any human being could be that dumb. But no, the man is a criminal. He was selling drugs here. And whatever you want to believe, Margaret, that is the legal reason why he was arrested. By the way, right now, he's on his way by police escort to a New York City courtroom. There are about 50 cop cars, local and foreign, local and national, I should say, accompanying him. He ain't going nowhere. He's going to be in court today. So, Margaret Brennan, I would look for a new line of work, especially now that you have a new boss who's not going to take that kind of stupidity seriously. By the way, nice work if you can get it. The New York Post is reporting former President Biden's long career in politics allowed him to retire with the largest taxpayer-funded pension of any ex-president in history, $417,000 a year. That's more than he made as president. The large annual sum is double of what Barack Obama received in retirement pay after leaving the White House, and $17,000 more than his $400,000 a year salary when he was prez. A man was found dead at Disney World over the weekend, the 6th death to rock the most magical place on earth in recent months. The body was found Friday night at Disney Springs. Investigators believe it may have been a suicide. Now to the latest in the fraud allegations involving the Somali community child care centers in Minneapolis. After weeks of seeing no children go into the centers under investigation by the FBI and the U.S. Senate, a mysterious Craigslist ad has appeared in the Twin Cities looking for child actors, offering to pay $1,500 a day. Left-wing media was quick to show a couple of the centers in question had a few children showing up after the spotlight was shown on what appears to be the largest scheme to defraud the government in history. President Trump said it could be for as much as $18 billion. So now it looks like the folks there in Minneapolis are trying to hire child actors to pose as children attending the daycare centers. Pretty stupid. 43 minutes past the hour. When we come back, Australia has slipped in a rule forcing search engines to verify user pages. Could that be headed to the U.S.? Brand and digital strategist Fisher will join us to talk about it. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato. We're coming right back.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato for your Monday. It's 45 minutes past the hour. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
Good morning, Mike. Nice on the West Coast. Temps in the 60s today. Finally, the rain coming to an end. On the East Coast, a little colder than that, though.
A little cooler, but there's a warm-up on the way for folks across the Midwest and on the East Coast, so big changes ahead, even for you with all of that rain you've been dealing with down in Southern California. Even though showers continue this morning down south of LA into Orange County and through San Diego, most of that wet weather wrapping up over the next few days to allow for a clearing that will bring back lots of sunshine by the end of this week. As far as the rest of the country, plan on mostly cloudy skies across the east with some flurries trying to work their way through portions of northern New Jersey. Then as we head through the middle of the week, temperatures start to rise slowly as the warmer weather takes over. The futurecast showing those clouds lingering at least through the middle of the week, but finally breaking for some sun into Thursday with a nice southwesterly breeze pushing up temperatures into the 60s and feeling quite pleasant. And I think it'll stay that way as we head into the middle of the week. The futurecast for folks out west, keeping those showers in the forecast at least through tomorrow. You can see more of that wet weather moving in as that low tracks just offshore and keeps the clouds hanging low. By Tuesday into Wednesday, we start to clear things out, and Thursday, we're back to sunshine up and down the state. So very pleasant weather as we head into later on this week and into the weekend. So things get better over the next few days. In terms of temperatures, big temperature increases for most of the West Coast, including the Midwest, right through the middle of the month, not just for the next few days. So this is a trend that'll take us into the end of the month. Even the long-range temperature outlook features nice dry weather as we head into the middle of the month in terms of precipitation, and that's some good news, keeping things a little bit drier. Quick to note, California, not in a drought at the moment, except for that little piece of abnormally dry there up in the Jefferson area. Most of the state remaining, well, a little wet, and this is good entering rainy season. We don't want to see too much rain because we know that leads to the mudslides and the landslides into, the early spring, but the rest of the country has some work to do getting rid of some of those areas of drought, including in New Jersey, Ken.
All right. Thank you very much, Michael. Much appreciated. We got a lot of traffic happening on the East Coast right now, not so much on the West Coast. Let's go over it. We have a crash on US 109, Tunnelly Avenue, southbound, north of Secaucus Road in North Bergen Township. You can see the emergency flashing lights there right in the middle of your screen. The left lane of 2 lanes closed. That's going to cause an absolute mess because it's usually bumper to bumper with traffic at this hour. Anyway, we have disabled tractor trailer now. And let's see here. This is on North Avenue, westbound of Kapkowski Road in Elizabeth with the right lane blocked there. Now we have a crash on the Garden State Parkway southbound at exit 131B, which is Metro Park in Woodbridge Township. 3 left lanes are closed. Let's see if we could bring that up. That's the Garden State Parkway at 131B by Metro Park. There it is. Look at the left side of your screen. That's an absolute nightmare of traffic for this morning. We have a disabled tractor trailer now. That's, I mentioned, Kapkowski Road in Elizabeth. That's causing delays all the way toward Newark Airport. We have a crash on 295 southbound, south of exit 56, 206 in Bordentown. The left lane of 3 lanes are closed. Go over to the New Jersey Turnpike if we can. And this is the outer roadway northbound, south of interchange 14. Look at the right side of your screen. This is causing delays for about 1.5 miles to 1 and 9 in Newark. So I wonder if that is connected to the issue that we're having with 1 and 9 in Newark, because that's more than a coincidence, the fact that we now have these delays straggling onto the turnpike. And then finally, we have a crash on I-78 local lanes eastbound at exit 57, Route 21 in Newark with the right lane closed. The Lincoln Tunnel right now is going to cost you 35 to 40 into Manhattan. The Holland Tunnel, 25 minutes. That's a decent deal. And the GWB has been a mess now all morning long. Take a look at this mess. It is basically standstill on the upper level on the right. Lower level, you see one lane squeezing in. Actually, they might be exiting. There's an exit on the left lane there that you could take on the left side of your screen, the left, what appears to be our right, their left. There's a way of exiting into the local roadway of Fort Lee. So I think that might be where they're going. Otherwise, everybody else is jamming, making your way into Manhattan. We're told that's going to cost you 50 minutes in. Over to Los Angeles roadways right now, we have lane closures on the Antelope Valley Freeway in Lancaster with ongoing construction there. The Caltrans Freeway Enhancement Project on the 605 to improve commuter travel and freight movement continues to cause delays. Overnight lane closures along the 405 through the Sepulveda Pass for pavement rehab. And we have Highway 101 crews continuing to work there at the wildlife crossing. So just beware of that. 50 minutes past the hour. And Australia has slipped in a rule forcing search engines to verify users' ages. Could that be headed to the U.S.? Brand and digital strategist Fisher, who could be found on X and Threads with username @Fisher, and on his website, fisher.media, joins us now to talk about that and more. Good morning to you, Fisher.
Good morning, Ken. How are you?
Great. Say hi to everybody on the West Coast.
Hi, everybody on the West Coast.
There we are. See, it'll take like 3 hours for them to get that signal. Anyway,
That's fine.
How will this new rule be enforced, by the way, in Australia? And could a rule like this ever find its way to the United States?
We'll get to the second part in a second. But first, the full compliance of this law is required by June 27th of this year, and it primarily targets search engines like Google and Microsoft's Bing. The measure aims to prevent Australian children from accessing or being exposed to online pornography, violence, self-harm material, or other harmful content via the search engines. Now, the search engines must verify or estimate user ages using a variety of methods, from pop-ups, ID documents, credit cards, digital IDs, face recognition, and on and on. Users verified under 18, the search engines must automatically apply filters to block or blur harmful content in search results. Now, this is the funny part. Non-logged in users, which is commonly incognito or private browsing, or even just guest browsing, you just didn't sign in, your searches will remain unchanged, with some content just possibly being blurred by default. But wouldn't you then just not log in? This whole thing is overseen by the e-safety commissioner, and non-compliance can result in fines up to approximately $50 million in Australian dollars. Critics highlight, obviously, that all approved verification methods are invasive, potentially ending full anonymous logged-in searches and risking broader erosion of online privacy. And this is also part of Australia's expanding online safety framework, which is to protect users under the age of 18 from various things. Under 16 right now in Australia, you can't even use social media. And so there might be future extensions of that include app stores, devices, and other digital gateways. So whether or not this can come to the United States, I think is a long way away as of right now. Again, we've talked about this before. It depends on who's currently in the White House and how, and in Congress, and how those rules, may apply. But something like this would take a long time and a lot of strange things happening in order to enable it. I think we're safe for now, but I don't rule it out as a possibility.
This is something that liberals love to dabble in. They always think they know best. They can do best. They know how to rule your life. Look, bottom line is, if you have a child who you want not to be using a search engine as a parent, you have a right to take the phone away or take care of it yourself. But
and there are plenty of parental settings that you can enable on the phone or on the computer, and also just paying attention to your child in some case. I know it's easier said than done, but there are ways to make sure you're aware of what your children are searching or using on the internet.
There you go. And speaking of, we mentioned the West Coast. Well, actually, first we should mention again, how realistic do you think? You mentioned just briefly, you touched on it, but if you did have a liberal administration come in and a liberal Congress, do you think this is something that can you see realistically something like this passing? And how would it be enforced?
Again, I think it's possible. There is I'll be kind, there is a website that adults could use that currently is blocked in certain states. And in order to see that website, you have to use an ID. You have to upload your ID into their system to verify how old you are. So is that possible? Yes. I think the backlash would be more for search engines than it would be for any type of pornography or violent site that you'd have to log into currently.
Yeah, I just wait until that site gets hacked and everybody's personal information gets out from that. Can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah, but it's
By
also
the way,
tying yourself to your, what you're searching to your ID. So, I mean, I think that's a bigger privacy, and for everybody that screams about other privacy things that, is along tying yourself to your identification, your ID, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, voter ID, it's kind of like, well, but that would be okay, but, requiring an ID. And then what happens? Some people don't have IDs apparently. So then what do you do? So, yeah.
remember, the liberals told us that minorities are too unable. They're too unable to
That's
get
right.
IDs. We got about 2 minutes left for our new audience
Yep.
in LA. There's a new California feed targeting batteries and PlayStations, power tools, and even those one-time use singing greeting cards, right?
Yes, you've done the entire story. Thank you very much. Yes, it is targeting
Have a nice day.
non-removable embedded batteries. Whether rechargeable or not, there's a fee of 1.5% of the retail sales price. It's capped at $15, but it is collected at the point where you buy these items. Again, power tools, video game consoles, greeting cards that might have batteries in them. Single-use plastics like vapes are exempt due to the concerns over handling the nicotine as a hazardous substance. The funds are supposed to expand collection and recycling programs to prevent batteries from ending up in landfills, and it addresses California's growing lithium-ion waste. Improper disposal has caused costly fires, higher insurance premiums, and of course hazards to workers. So again, the fee will be collected at the point of sale, up to $15, but it starts now, so be prepared.
There you go. All right, brand and digital strategist Fisher, who can be found on X and Threads with username @Fisher and on his website fisher.media. Thank you for coming on, my friend. Have a great day.
Have a great morning. Take care.
Thank you, sir. 58 minutes past the hour. Those of you in California, please stay tuned for more news and information on LACA. And if you are watching on the East Coast, stay tuned for On New Jersey Mornings. Thank you so much for watching. We'll have lots more news. And again, good to be on this new venture, East Coast and West Coast. Stay tuned because we'll have more cities around the country to join us in the months ahead. Again, have a wonderful Monday. Thanks for watching.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
At AmeriHealth, we understand what's important to you. It's why we offer some of the lowest cost health plans in New Jersey, with access to one of the state's largest networks of doctors and hospitals. Plus, with free 24/7 virtual care, you can see a doctor anytime and anywhere. And we're committed to giving back to help make a difference in our communities. Learn more at AmeriHealth.com. A health plan for everyone.
A very good morning to you. It is 8 a.m. on Monday, January 5th, 2026. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. Our phone lines are open, 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Clouds today, highs mid-30s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
Gee, Mike, now that we're not on the West Coast, we could talk about the people in California behind their backs.
Yeah. I know. The earth was shaking before and it wasn't an earthquake, but it's kind of it's fun. It's fun. It's a new concept and it's fun. And I always love watching the West Coast weathercasts, if not online, when vacationing with family, because it's just so interesting to see and how to bring the two coasts together. Just the beginning, like you said, maybe we'll throw a South Florida forecast in there, with a new
Yeah, we got
branch,
Midwest coming too. We got a lot of cities for
Mhm.
those here. Let's give them a sneak peek. We got the Midwest, Upper Midwest, South Florida. We got literally within the year, we hope to be blanketing the entire, like literally you could
Uh-huh.
draw a ring around the United States. And now we have a couple of Midwest too. It's going to be great. Our network is growing.
Yep, Ken and Mike taking over the country. Well, we'll start with New Jersey first, right? Because we got to get through a Jersey morning here. As you head out the door and get your day started, it is cold yet again. We're back to the chill, 19 degrees in Morristown. Can't quit with this cold, even down to a chip bottom 26. Clouds around right now, and there's some snow on the way. Some flurries are in the forecast later on this afternoon. So even though we began right now in the teens with the wind chill, there is plenty of cold air around. Just enough of a breeze to make it breezy and chilly. That 9-mile-per-hour wind in Tom's River aiding in the wind chill in the teens. Plan on a temperature that doesn't really warm up all that much today. We'll be hovering right around that freezing mark for most of the afternoon. Have a few clouds around. Notice they've thickened up over the last few hours. That is because the snow is on the way. A couple of those snow showers right now entering the Appalachians and crossing the Delaware in the next few hours. We'll likely see these flurries begin falling later on this morning, probably just after the morning commute. The futurecast showing just that. Around 9 a.m., light blue shades here showing those snow flurries and snow squalls working through. They may be a quick burst of snow that could put down a quick coating on the car tops and grassy surfaces, and that lasts through around the lunchtime hour with these little blotchy areas of blue that exit by this afternoon. So we're quiet for this evening, and then a clearing takes over by tomorrow with the sunshine that helps us get into the 40s. That'll feel great. But that's just the beginning because temperatures keep climbing each and every day, all the way back into the 40s on Wednesday, might even hit 50 down in southern New Jersey throughout Thursday as that mild weather keeps on coming through. So there's a warming trend this week that brings back, yes, some chances of clouds, but overall a sunnier finish to the week that'll push temperatures into the 50s by the weekend. It gets even warmer for Saturday, but there's a catch. Could be some showers. We'll time it out for you coming up with your weekend weather, Ken, in just a few minutes.
There's always a catch. It's a very Jersey
Always a
thing with
catch.
you, Mike. I noticed that.
Yeah.
Always a catch.
It's a
All right,
hook.
buddy. Thank you very much. Yes, it is a chilly 24 degrees right now in Trenton. It is 26 degrees in northern New Jersey, 25 degrees down in Vineland. And we look at traffic in the area. Right now, we have a report of an issue on I-80, a crash westbound east of exit 57, Route 19 in Patterson. Two left lanes closed, so you got to kind of peek to the middle of the screen there, and you could see where the delays are. That one box truck just passing by. A lot of heavy traffic. Again, that is going through Patterson. We have a crash now reported on 295 southbound, south of exit 56, 206 in Bordentown. The left lane is closed through there. Now we have police activity and EMS activity on 678 northbound. This is approaching the New York State border. Two right lanes are blocked there. And a crash on the Garden State Parkway southbound by exit 136, Stiles Street and Clark. The right lane southbound by that exit is now closed. Jersey Turnpike has a crash reported on the outer roadway northbound north of interchange 13A, which is Newark Airport, with the left lane blocked there. And we have issues on your Hudson River crossings. Lincoln Tunnel is going to cost you 35 minutes. That's all due to volume. 25 minutes at the Holland. Absolute mess of the GWB. Upper and lower levels now 45 to 50 minutes. Look at what you got. Upper on the right, lower on the left. You better give yourselves lots of extra travel time if that's the way you're heading into Manhattan today. It is 8:05 now, and while national political headlines have been dominated by high-profile figures like Mayor Mamdani in New York, New Jersey has also had an important election year. In Jersey City, voters are preparing for a new chapter in city leadership. On January 15th, the Garden State's third largest city will see James Solomon sworn in as the city's 50th mayor. He'll take office as accountability has become the priority there. To talk about it, we say good morning to Mayor-elect James Solomon. Good to have you on.
Ken, thank you. It's great to be here.
Congratulations. Has it sunk in yet, Mr. Mayor? Have people, all your family and friends, been calling you Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, it is in the process of sinking in. You know, my kids are teasing me. They go to the park and they tell me I need to fix the slides immediately. But I'm very, very excited to get to work.
I love that. And Jersey City is one of my favorite cities. I'm originally from New York, and I remember after 9/11, Jersey City went from a large city to a booming city. Obviously,
Yep.
as much of downtown Manhattan kind of moved right across the Hudson into Jersey City. I mean, it is a gleaming example of a modern city. I know it has its challenges. So what are you focused on now as you step into your new role?
Yeah, I mean, we're very lucky to be raising our kids in Jersey City. It's an extraordinary place, most diverse city in the country. The biggest challenge that the city faces is affordability. It's the theme you're hearing all over the country, certainly in the tri-state area. And for me, rents have gone up 50%. Property taxes have gone up 50% in 5 years. Money is being taken out of people's pocketbooks. And, my biggest job is to get into City Hall and make sure city government is fighting each and every day to make the city more affordable, to keep residents in their homes and, let them actually stay in this extraordinary place.
Yeah, you talk about diversity, and I know I've heard that statistic that it's the most diverse city in the nation. You go through Jersey City, and it feels much like you took Manhattan and made it much more usable and user-friendly, and with a view of Manhattan. That's the thing. I remember coming back from Miami years ago. I said,
Yeah.
"Where do I want to live? If I want to live and have a beautiful skyline of my own and a view of Manhattan, there's only really it's Hoboken, Jersey City. That's where you got to go." And Jersey City is hot. You got great restaurants, just tons
Yep.
of things to do. It's a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous city. If somebody is like we have now a West Coast audience here, and if you're thinking about moving east, Jersey City's is certainly the gateway to the whole region. It's a great way to come to. But as you mentioned, there's still some big issues because as people have come and the numbers they've come, that's what's forced the rents up, right? As the demand has gone up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first, if you're living in California, we would say Jersey City is better than New York. We want people here.
Yeah.
We got incredible culture, an incredible sense of place, but we're not as stuck up and pretentious as the guys across the river. So come live in Jersey City. But I think for us, we just the demand has increased as people are looking to be able to live here, and that's wonderful. We want people to move to Jersey City. The biggest thing though is all this development has to benefit everybody. There are more. Jersey City is building at basically 6 times the rate as New York City on a per capita on an individual basis, given that we're smaller. And we need to make sure that development actually benefits everybody. So one of the big things I ran on is making sure we have homes people can afford built in these large new high rises. Some rents as low as $1,000 a month, others at $1,500 and $2,000. So working people in Jersey City can afford to stay in the city. And then, I do think it's broadly, we got to make sure that growth and development benefits all and not just a small slice of the city. And so that to me is how do you keep the city moving, growing, embrace the vibrancy and the dynamism of Jersey City, but make sure that there's a shared prosperity as part of it.
And when you bring and allow everybody into the party, if you will, when you allow some low income or lower income housing to be available in these gleaming high rises, it's amazing how it transforms the lives of people who may have had just a bad deal in life, and now all of a sudden they're
100%.
surrounded by a network of people who could
Mhm.
very well help transform their futures. So it's a very important thing, and I'm very libertarian
Mhm.
about things, but
Yeah.
this is a way of helping to transform the lives of people. If you want the whole community to benefit, welcome people in
Yep.
of all different incomes and backgrounds, and watch what happens as you see the tide rise overall. Am I wrong?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you think about what anyone wants for their family. They want access to a safe environment, access to good schools, good transit, and then a broader network and community of people that care and support you. And Jersey City, what's always been so special and unique about Jersey City is that the extraordinary bonds that are built between very different communities, very different religions, ethnicities, you name it, like people just come together in this city, which is extraordinary. And we want to make sure that that continues. But I agree that when you are thoughtful about how you do your housing programs, you can really change people's lives and really give people genuine opportunity.
Yeah. Mayor-elect, why don't you tell us, we have a couple of minutes left. I want to know more about you, about James Solomon, about your family,
Yeah.
how long you've been in Jersey City. Share with New
Yeah.
Jersey all about you.
Yeah, no. So my daughters are the fifth generation in our family to live in the Great Garden State. So we've been in New Jersey for a very long time. Now I moved to Jersey City about 15 years ago with my now wife, Gabby. And I decided to get into public service 10 years ago after kind of my life changed. So about 10 years ago, a month after I was married, I was diagnosed with lymphoma. Today, I'm blessed to be in remission for nearly it'll be 10 years in April. So big milestone for me coming up. And when that happened, I was like, life is short. And if I'm blessed with a second chance at health, I've got to use it to give back, and particularly give back to Jersey City, because this city supported me during my toughest time. It had my back during my treatment. People from all over the city helping me get better. I always tell you, I had friends that would just take me on walks to keep my energy up as you're going through the chemo and the radiation treatment process. And gave me a real perspective that I needed to use my life to do right by others, and then invest in family. So my wife and I have three beautiful daughters. They're 8, 6, and 3. I am a girl dad, and it's the joy of my life. So my life is very simple. It's public service and family, and I'm very blessed to get to do it.
Well, let's see. I'm going to give you an Italian health toast, and it's called Cent'anni. That means may you live to be at least 100 and do so
I
healthfully.
appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate that.
congratulations again. New Jersey and Jersey City are very lucky to have you. Jersey City Mayor-elect James Solomon, please promise me you won't be a stranger. Come back on the show anytime. Tell us the good and the bad and whatever we can do as well. We want to be a happy part of New Jersey and Jersey City as well.
Well, you got Jersey City in the background right behind you, so I got to be back.
That's it.
So
You got it.
100%, Ken. Thank you for welcoming me, and look
All
forward
right.
to being back as the mayor after the 15th.
Looking forward to it. Best of luck to you in your new role. Thanks for coming on this morning. Have a great day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
You bet. 24 degrees at 8:13. When we come back, seatbelt surges to 95% in the Garden State. Coming right back.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Hey, New Jersey, want to choose how you live as you age? Tune into AARP New Jersey's new show, The Power of Us, the show that celebrates aging with dignity, purpose, and joy. From protecting yourself against fraud, to staying healthy and aging in place, to finding purpose through volunteering, we've got the tools, tips, and stories to help you thrive. Join us on ONNJ and discover the power of us.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. For Monday, it is 8:15. Clouds today, highs mid-30s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
Not such a bad day, right, Mike? Some clouds and not so frigid.
Not so frigid. No, it's going to look a little bit better as the week progresses, but the snow flurries that'll be around today will have people going, really? We still dealing with the snow? Yeah, it's January. We're still in the middle of winter. Remember, winter just began 2 weeks ago, so even though the calendar, kind of not looking like we're out of the woods just yet, there are some brighter days ahead and warmer days too once we get beyond today. So plan on the clouds for most of this afternoon. Very limited sunshine. Temperatures stay in the 30s. And a little bit of a breeze will make it feel even chillier down the shore. The 39 degrees, more like a 32 with the wind chill. Speaking of wind chill, here you go. Feeling quite chilly even through tomorrow morning. 20s on tap to start off your Tuesday. And then we turn a little bit milder by the middle of the week into Thursday with more of a westerly breeze, which starts off chilly in the morning and lingering at night. But as we head into Thursday and Friday, yes, it'll turn much milder by the afternoon. So even though the mornings will start off rather chilly, the afternoons turn a bit warmer. As far as the wind today, you'll feel it down the shore, gusting off of the water up to 20, 25 miles per hour. Feeling a little breezy again tomorrow afternoon as that wind shifts and pulls in some milder weather. And Wednesday afternoon, windy statewide, but that wind direction is pushing in some milder air. So not frigid, even though it'll feel a little chilly at times. At least the sun will make it feel a little milder heading into the middle of the week where we get lots of clear sky. The clouds that are around today, thanks to the leading edge of that snow flurry activity that comes in later today, most of the bulk of the moisture is up over the Great Lakes, but we get clipped with a few snow showers later on this afternoon. You can see those go by, and then once that passes through, this clearing begins, and that'll take us into a nice dry and sunny start to our Tuesday. Clouds return for tomorrow night, maybe an early morning sprinkle on Wednesday, but that's the leading edge of some milder weather that brings temperatures up into the 40s and near 50 by Thursday. So if you're looking for a good time to take down the Christmas decorations later on this week, wait till Thursday afternoon into Friday, and you will enjoy the milder weather that will take over the next few days. Even beyond that, going into Thursday afternoon and Friday, there's milder weather still, which again, with the sunshine, will feel great as highs climb into the upper 30s and low 40s. Again, even warmer standing in the sun, so it'll look nice going forward. Beyond that, it's a pleasant next few days with the weekend turning a bit wet on Saturday. It's not a washout on Saturday, so you'll be able to enjoy the upper 50s near 60 with just clouds at times. I think some of that rain comes in later on in the evening, and then Sunday looks chillier, 42 and sunny. So a milder weekend ahead with some wet weather mixed in there, but overall not terrible considering how mild it becomes over the course of this weekend.
Mike, when I used to work at Channel 7 with the great Joe Nolan, our weather guy, Joe Nolan, I'm not weather traffic guy, Joe Nolan, do you remember? When
Sure.
he would hear something like that, you know what he would say? He'd say, it doesn't suck a lot.
Doesn't suck a lot, yeah.
So that would be the weekend forecast. You could have summed that all the last 3 minutes, said, you know what? It doesn't suck a lot. Ken, back to you. There you go. And then we'll earn our check. All right, Mike. Thank you, sir. We will check back with you. It is 24 degrees. It doesn't suck a lot. That's Joe Nolan. Still on the air. 24 degrees in Trenton right now, 26 degrees in northern New Jersey. It is 21 degrees in Vineland and 23 degrees in Cape May. Traffic, we got a lot of it. 295 right now, southbound, south of exit 56, Route 206, Bordentown. All lanes are open, but you got lots of traffic going through there. Let's go over to the New Jersey Turnpike, shall we? Outer roadway northbound, north of interchange 13A, Newark Liberty International Airport, 1 and 9 in Newark. Look on the left side of your screen there. We got the left lane blocked. That's causing a lot of delays at this hour. People making their way to the airport. We have a crash now over to the Garden State Parkway. This is causing a lot of ugliness. Garden State Parkway, southbound, south of exit 136. That is Stiles Street in Clark. All lanes are open, but again, causing a lot of delays. Garden State Parkway at 136. Look at the oncoming traffic there, the headlights coming towards you. And also on 295, northbound, south of exit 29, Route 30 and Haddon Heights, the right shoulder is closed. Over now to I-80. Westbound, east of exit 57, Route 19 in Patterson. The two left lanes of the three lanes there on I-80 closed. You kind of make that out in the middle of the screen. It's looking better than it was. They may have opened that up. Let's see. I'll double check that in a minute. We have a crash on 295 southbound, south of exit 56, 206 Bordentown we mentioned. And then we have a crash on 1 and 9 Tenley Avenue southbound, north of Secaucus Road in North Bergen with the left lane closed there. Disabled tractor trailer North Avenue westbound in the area of Kapkowski Street in Elizabeth. My gosh, there's a lot. The Hudson River crossings now, the Lincoln Tunnel is still 40 minutes in. The Holland is 25 to 30 in Jersey City. We just had the incoming mayor of Jersey City. Look at the GWB upper and lower levels. 50 minutes, upper level on the right, lower on the left. 8:21, the biggest story we have this Monday, former Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro is scheduled to make his first federal court appearance in Manhattan at noon today on long-standing narco-terrorism charges, prompting hundreds of thousands of Venezuelan refugees the world over to celebrate in the streets. He was just taken by police escort. There were about 30 or 40 police vehicles in New York that just took him from his holding center to the federal courthouse. So he'll be making his appearance at noon today. He'll be kept at the courthouse, though, beforehand. So he'll be there. There's no excuse about traffic. He'll be there in plenty of time. This follows his dramatic weekend capture by the U.S. military in an operation dubbed Absolute Resolve. President Trump says the U.S. temporarily will oversee Venezuela's government, the vice president being sworn in, and their vast oil industry to ensure stability. Maduro and his wife arrived in New York amid tight security, facing indictments tied to drug trafficking. Critics on the left raise questions about presidential powers, about this whole thing. Meanwhile, international reactions are mixed. Many nations saying this is a precedent-setting move, but they didn't say anything about precedent-setting moves when President Obama, President Bush, and even Joe Biden all attacked, captured, in some cases killed individuals in other countries, all without congressional approval. But when Orange Man Bad does the same thing, well, then it's even worse. Mainstream media is amazing. The Trump administration pulls off what is arguably the most brilliant clandestine military operation in history. Margaret Brennan of CBS's Face the Nation asks Secretary of State Marco Rubio what is arguably the dumbest question of anyone who's ever called themselves a journalist. Listen to this.
He's still in place. The defense minister, who has deep ties to Russia, $15 million price on his head, he is still in place. I'm confused. Are they still wanted by the United States? Why didn't you arrest them if you are taking out the narco-terrorist regime?
You're confused? I don't know why that's confusing to you.
They're still in power.
It's very simple. You're not going to go in and wrap up. But you can't go. You're going to go in and suck up 5 people. They're already complaining about this one operation. Imagine the howls we would have from everybody else if we actually had to go and stay there 4 days to capture 4 other people. We got the top priority. The number one person on the list was the guy who claimed to be the president of the country that he was not. And he was arrested along with his wife, who was also indicted. And that was a pretty sophisticated and frankly complicated operation.
It was.
It is not easy to land helicopters in the middle of the largest military base in the country. The guy lived on a military base. Land within 3 minutes, kick down his door, grab him, put him in handcuffs, read him his rights, put him in a helicopter, and leave the country without losing any American or any American assets. That's not an easy mission. And you're asking me why didn't we do that in 5 other places at the same time? I mean, that's absurd.
Indeed, that is absurd. Yes, clearly Margaret is trying to prove the administration did not go after Maduro because he was a drug trafficker, because if that was their mission, then why didn't they just go after all the other people who were involved in drug trafficking in Venezuela? Margaret, it's because maybe there are like thousands of people involved in drug trafficking in Venezuela, and the US government can't fly in thousands of military members and arrest every one of them. Are you serious? Let's see, in New York City, there are thousands of drug dealers here, yet the NYPD can only investigate and arrest about 100 a year. And why they are in this nation, by the way. So why would you even ask something as stupid as that, if not to try to corner and gotcha the standing Secretary of State? Margaret, you could not mask your left-wing ignorance, stupidity if your life depended on it. And in other news now, this just in, word now that Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota will not run for a third term as governor there amid the growing Somali child care fraud scandal, which may approach $18 billion of U.S. taxpayer money stolen. Back in local news, do you always put on your safety belt when you get behind the wheel? If you don't, you may want to start. Every study shows that wearing a seatbelt can save your life in a crash, especially if you're in the front seat. The good news is New Jersey's safety belt usage surged to nearly 95% following last year's Click It or Ticket campaign. That's higher than the national average of 91%. The push to ensure at least front seat passengers are wearing safety belts in New Jersey takes place every June and July. Actually, May and June, to be specific, May and June, with police targeting drivers not wearing their safety belts. 8:25, federal authorities announced over the weekend they're thwarting a potential ISIS-inspired terror attack planned for New Year's Eve in North Carolina. An 18-year-old from Mint Hill near Charlotte named Christian Sturtevant was arrested December 31st. He now faces federal charges of attempting to provide material support to a foreign terrorist organization, ISIS. New restrictions on SNAP benefits took effect in 5 states over the weekend. The first USDA-approved waivers banning food stamps from being used on sugary sodas, candy, and energy drinks. Nebraska was among the states leading the way, aiming to encourage healthier eating among low-income family members to reduce obesity-related health issues. Tesla announced a 9% drop in electric vehicle deliveries for 2025, partly due to the end of federal tax credits, posing challenges for the EV market overall. Company shares are in focus today as analysts weigh competition and innovation ahead. More on the shifting auto landscape coming up. And NASA has narrowed down to 3 companies vying for the contract to build the next lunar rover for the Artemis program, with missions targeting crewed landings starting in 2030. Those rovers will allow astronauts to explore farther on the moon's surface than ever before, supporting science and resource discovery. And NASA has, Grok, the artificial intelligence engine on X, is in the news, addressing recent concerns over image generation safeguards over reports of inappropriate content. The team says updates are rolling out to enhance safety and ethics. And finally, health officials are sounding the alarm as flu cases surge nationwide, fueled by a dominant new variant. Hospitals are seeing more patients, and doctors urge getting vaccinated now if you have not yet done so. Simple steps like hand washing and masking in crowded spots may help. It is now 8:28. When we come back, what's the latest with the Epstein files? Attorney and Professor Alan Sanders will join us to talk about it. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We're coming right back.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Hey, New Jersey, want to choose how you live as you age? Tune into AARP New Jersey's new show, The Power of Us, the show that celebrates aging with dignity, purpose, and joy. From protecting yourself against fraud, to staying healthy and aging in place, to finding purpose through volunteering, we've got the tools, tips, and stories to help you thrive. Join us on ONNJ and discover the power of us.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
And good morning. It is 8:30, Monday, January 5th, 2026. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. Our phone lines are open, 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Before we hit the mic, just want to update you on breaking news again. Nicolas Maduro, the former dictator of Venezuela, is now being taken by helicopter. He and his wife have now been taken from the courthouse, or from the jail rather, to the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan. The helicopter has now landed. He will be appearing in federal court. He has an appearance at noon today. Of course, we'll keep you updated on all the breaking news on Nicolas Maduro appearing today at noon with his wife in federal court. Going to have clouds today, highs mid-30s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the full Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
And my perfect weather for Nicolas Maduro to walk off the helicopter to the courthouse, as it's just cloudy and the temperature is, well, maybe if you're from Venezuela, it's a little chilly.
Little chilly up here. We have colder Christmases and, colder starts to winter, of our winter here in the Northern Hemisphere. Now, our forecast points to a little bit of cloud cover lingering for most of the morning, thickening up as the day goes along. You can even see in the visible satellite a lot of these clouds reflecting the sunlight as the sun rises, making for a pretty gray scene through the day today. Well, that will transition and translate to a few clouds and snow showers across northern New Jersey through this afternoon. Southern parts of the state likely just see the clouds hang around and a gusty breeze off of the water, as wind gusts now are light, but the wind turns gustier as the day goes along. Our average high is 41 degrees. We're not getting there today. We'll be in the 30s through this afternoon and stay chilly as some of those snow showers start to enter the picture and even cross the Delaware in the next few hours. So plan on a little bit of maybe even a flurry burst, perhaps a coating on the car tops, grassy surfaces into the afternoon. It all clears out by tonight, and then we're back to sunshine for tomorrow to start. Clouds return tomorrow afternoon with some milder weather that might bring in a few early morning showers on Wednesday, but all of that moves out and brings back a milder feel that brings temperatures into the 40s, feels like for the first time in a while. And then that milder trend keeps going through the rest of the week, allowing for lots of sunshine to take over by Wednesday into Thursday as the warm front slides on through and brings back some lovely weather. And that will allow for a nice milder feel into Thursday and Friday, pushing temperatures all the way near the 50s, perhaps even by 60 once we get to Saturday. Yes, it comes with a chance of some rain for Saturday, but that rain may hold off. So here's the long range forecast showing some of those light showers on Saturday, clearing out for a beautiful Sunday and Monday, and then we're quiet into the first part of next week going forward with that long range futurecast. So the 7-day for northern New Jersey has some snow showers around today, milder throughout the day tomorrow with clearing on Wednesday. And look at that spike by the end of the week into the 40s and 50s, near 60 by Saturday. Could see a few showers and then we cool things off by the time we get to Sunday time frame. The short points have less of a chance of flurries today. I think you're just staying cloudy, but still milder weather still in the 50s on Wednesday with that milder weather. So a little bit of a fast forward to spring, if you will, as it's not just one day of warm weather, it's several consecutive days of above average temperatures, Ken, as we take it into the second week of January.
I like that you came to me with the words above average for a change. Thank you, Mike. You boost my mood. By the way, Mike and I had a wonderful brunch last week. It's so rare that we get to go out and sit down and chat. And by the way, to Pam, our director, Mike treated, just so you know. And Evans upset she wasn't invited. But thank you very much, Mike. It was a lovely brunch. Always nice spending time with you, in spite of the
It was
fact that you
great,
treated
great
me.
catching
I
up.
appreciate
Yep.
it. And I still owe you. I said from day one, I owed Mike a dinner from the day we went on the air because I was having technical problems on our studio end, and Mike saved the day on the first day of the broadcast. I said I owed you dinner, and yet I haven't paid up.
Well, it's
So I
home
still
turf base. So when we visit you guys, then you can treat. So I think that's coming up in the next month or so.
Fantastic. Looking forward to it, Mike. All right, buddy. Have a good one. We'll see you in a little bit. It is 24 degrees in Trenton right now, 27 degrees in northern New Jersey. And Pam, are we gonna go back to news? All right, sorry. All right, so with traffic, we have crash on the New Jersey Turnpike out of roadway northbound north of interchange 13A, which is Newark Liberty Airport, 1 and 9 in Elizabeth. I always think of Sanford and Son when I say Elizabeth. Remember? Fred Sanford, Elizabeth, I'm coming to Elizabeth. Sorry about that. Have to do that. The right shoulder is blocked. Vehicles on the right shoulder right now. Looks like things might be picking up a little bit, though. They moved the camera. That's what we have for you. We have a crash on the Garden State Parkway southbound, south of exit 136. That's in Style or at Stiles Street in Clark Township. All lanes are open, but on the Garden State Parkway, anything like this can cause major delays. All you need is a little tiny bit. Look at that. A lot of brake lights, tail lights there, as opposed to the normal heavy flow. It's heavier. We also have EMS activity and police department activity on 678 northbound approaching exit A in New York. 2 right lanes are blocked. We have a crash on 295 southbound south of exit 56, which is 206, and that is in Bordentown. The left shoulder and left lane of 3 lanes are closed. Crash on the Turnpike outer roadway northbound south of interchange 14, which is 1 and 9 in Newark with all lanes open. Back over to the Garden State, we have a crash on the GSP northbound, north of the Toms River Toll Plaza, all lanes open there. And over on the Hudson River crossings, the Lincoln Tunnel is 35 to 40 now. The Holland Tunnel is, we're being told, 20 to 25. That's actually a good deal. GWB upper and lower levels, 80-95 approaches, very heavy. Look at what you got there. Right side, not all. That's the upper level of the bridge, and the lower level on the left is crawling. Either way, it's going to cost you about 45 to 50 minutes in by the GWB. Our time is 8:37. Several new state laws are now in effect in New Jersey, impacting your wallet and daily life. The minimum wage has risen to $15.92 an hour for most workers. That's a 43-cent increase, with seasonal and small business employees seeing that bump to $15.23. By the way, every place where they raise the minimum wage, what ends up happening is, while certain people will get a bump in income, and that's fine, what ends up happening is businesses have to make up that money somewhere. So they'll either pass the cost to the consumer. That's why you're spending $10 for Big Macs in New York now. Or they will lay off employees because they have to get the money from somewhere. It doesn't just come out of the sky. So while I understand the fairness factor, you want everybody to make a, quote, livable wage, but at the same time, the money has to come from somewhere. So expect higher costs for everything. The cost for doing business goes up, and expect people will be laid off. Whenever the minimum wage goes up, unemployment goes up as well. 8:38, New Jersey's gasoline tax has officially increased by 4.1 cents a gallon as of last Thursday, pushing tax to nearly 50 cents a gallon for gas and over 56 cents a gallon for diesel in New Jersey. That makes the Garden State's gas tax the 7th highest in the nation. State Treasury officials say the hike is necessary to meet the $2.1 billion annual requirement for the Transportation Trust Fund, funding repairs to roads and bridges. Well, the question is, if we're funding roads and bridges from the 50-cent per gallon gas tax, why not just knock off the tolls? See, we're increasing tolls, increasing the gas tax, increasing property tax, increasing income tax, and in every case we say, oh, that money is going for your roadways. Is it all going for the roadways, really? And by the way, did you catch it? They had to raise the gas tax because they said that people are driving less. So you're being penalized for doing what they are arguing is good for the environment. You're driving less, therefore buying less gas, therefore paying less gas tax. So they will raise the gas tax on the rest of the people who are still driving to compensate. So you're being blamed and punished for doing the right thing. Love the way that works. And by the way, I did mention the tolls. As for highway tolls in New Jersey, they're now up as well. The New Jersey Turnpike and Garden State Parkway tolls are up by 3%. Delaware River Bridge crossings are up. Easy Pass price now $2 for cars. Port Authority bridges and tunnels add another layer with peak Easy Pass tolls nearing $17. Lawmakers again saying, well, it's needed for capital improvements and taking care of roadways. So everything goes to the roadways, but nothing goes to the roadways because the roadways kind of suck in New Jersey. 8:40, and Democrat Mikey Sherrill will be sworn in January 20th as New Jersey's next governor. She got 56% of the vote, as you recall. By the way, she's getting sworn in not in Trenton, but in Newark at the Performing Arts Center. She is from Northern Jersey. She lives in Essex County, and she feels it would be fitting. She'll be the first person ever sworn in 235 years outside of Trenton. So she'll be sworn in as governor at the Performing Arts Center, and then she's going to celebrate with her inaugural ball at American Dream in East Rutherford. So that's going to be a very special day, I'm sure, for Mikey Sherrill. 8:40, and today marks the somber anniversary of the January 2025 wildfires that ravaged parts of LA in California. Community events and volunteer opportunities are underway to honor victims, support recovery efforts, and highlight risks amid the current rainy season that has brought both relief and new flood concerns to burn areas. And authorities have now identified 2 of the 3 hikers found dead last week in Southern California's San Gabriel Mountains. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department announced Saturday the men are Juan Serrat Lopez and Byron Pedro Ramos Garcia, both 36 and Guatemala nationals residing in LA. Another hiker, 19-year-old Marcus Alexander Munch Casanova of Seal Beach, a Santa Clara University freshman and outdoorsman who fell about 500 feet near the treacherous Devil's Backbone Trail December 29th. Rescue crews discovered Lopez and Garcia during the search for Casanova. The 3 were not hiking together. High winds hampered initial discovery efforts, and several trails, including Devil's Backbone, remain closed amid ongoing winter hazards on the mountain, one of Southern California's most dangerous peaks. We go into the detail there now because we now have an audience in LA on our new channel, LACA. And in Hollywood news, the 31st Critics' Choice Awards concluded last night in Santa Monica, hosted by Chelsea Handler. The film Sinners dominated with multiple wins, while early television honors went to Sarah Snook for Best Actress in a Limited Series. The event kicked off 2026 award season strong, setting the stage for next week's Golden Globes with stars like Ariana Grande and Coleman Domingo in attendance. Right now, when we come back, more of our coverage of the capture of former Venezuelan dictator and alleged drug cartel head Nicolas Maduro. And we'll take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, live on both coasts now from now on, and we'll be back in just 2 minutes. Don't go away.
Play it like the New York Sirens. Live in the spotlight. Etch your name in lights. Embrace the noise. And when it calls you, turn it up. Get louder. Play it like they'll hear us everywhere. Because this is our team. New York Sirens. Play it big.
Hey, New Jersey, want to choose how you live as you age? Tune into AARP New Jersey's new show, The Power of Us, the show that celebrates aging with dignity, purpose, and joy. From protecting yourself against fraud, to staying healthy and aging in place, to finding purpose through volunteering, we've got the tools, tips, and stories to help you thrive. Join us on ONNJ and discover the power of us.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings for your Monday. It's 8:45. Our two breaking stories this morning, by the way, that we're following. Former Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro and his wife have just been flown by helicopter to Lower Manhattan from their prison cells in Brooklyn to face a federal judge at Manhattan Federal Court. That takes place at noon today. And Minnesota Governor Tim Walz may, according to word from his people, may choose not to run for a third term as Minnesota's governor on the Democrat ticket. That after a huge scandal involving the Somali community in Minnesota and potentially as much as $18 billion in fraud that's being investigated by the FBI and Congress. We'll have much more on this in just a few moments. Cloudy today, highs mid-30s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the Garden State forecast for you.
Weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts.
So not such a bad day considering it's January. A lot of times, Mike, this time of year is when we get the single-digit bitter cold, but we got that in December. It feels like everything is shifted 3 to 4 weeks. Am I wrong?
That would be correct, and I think that hopefully will be the case going into the end of January when we statistically have the coldest part of year for New Jersey. The trend is looking a little bit milder. Not to say it's cold, because it is cold right now, and there are some snow flurries on the way for northern New Jersey. You see them here on the map up towards Sussex and Newton, even the northeastern corner of the state, right down through Hackensack and Jersey City. We'll have some flurry bursts through the rest of the morning into the early afternoon, but then there's a milder trend on the way for the rest of the week, keeping our area dry. Notice we're in a little bit of a rainfall deficit, about a half an inch, but not terrible considering how dry it was earlier in the season. Look at going forward through the middle of the month. Big heat expanding through the west. Here in New Jersey, average temperatures, but still we'll see above average temperatures for the rest of this week, even as dry weather takes over in the Midwest and South. We stay average, so likely equal chances of dry and wet weather. For the remainder of this week, we see a nice warming trend that takes us into the 50s, even near 60 as soon as this weekend, and then a little bit of a cool down on the way for next week with some clearing, but it's that milder trend that lasts for several days that will feel lovely around here. Even the overnights getting down into the 40s, so you won't hear the heat click on as much over the next few days, even as we head into the weekend. It's not a washout on Saturday, and even for Friday, I want to make that clear, just some spotty scattered showers, so there may be some breaks of sun with those 50s that will make it feel lovely and allow for a little bit of a spring fever to take over across New Jersey, because yes, it's been very cold, but I think there's some cooler weather on the way again for next weekend.
Boo, boo. Here I was going to give you a gold star. Now it's all taken back. All right, Mike, we appreciate it. Half a you got it. All right, Mike. We'll see you again. Thank you very much today. Nice launch in Los Angeles today, by the way. Los Angeles. For those who did not follow earlier today, our first hour is nationwide now. We are on the West Coast in Southern California and here on the East Coast, New Jersey, New York area. So it's kind of exciting. Our sister channel out there is called On LACA, as in On Los Angeles, California. And here on the East Coast, it's On New Jersey. And we have 3 more channels launching within the year. So fingers crossed. It's exciting to see the channels growing on our new network. Terms of traffic, we have debris spill on the New Jersey Turnpike Western Spur, northbound south of the Northern Mixing Bowl in Ridgefield. All lanes are open, but Pam is showing you there. It doesn't look like it's that bad. a little brake check. It's about a mile from what you're looking at there before they tap the brake. So that's being taken care of right now. We have EMS activity, police department activity too on 678 northbound approaching exit A in New York, 2 right lanes blocked. Crash on the Garden State Parkway to report right now southbound south of exit 136. That is Stiles Street in Clark Township. All lanes are open there, but that's causing some delays. You can kind of see that through all the haze that we have on your screen. And we have a crash on 295 southbound south of exit 56 in Bordentown. The left shoulder and left lane are closed. Hudson River crossings, the Holland Tunnel is your best bet this morning, 25 to 30 minutes. And Lincoln is 35 to 40. GWB's been a mess all morning. It's going to cost you over 45 minutes, upper level on the right, lower on the left, all volume. A lot of people just jamming into Manhattan. And that's what you got as a result. You'd think the first day back to the grind, it wouldn't be that bad, but unfortunately it is. 8:50 is our time, and Tastemade and Pepsi are teaming up to bring back a fan favorite food series that celebrates local restaurants that put their cities on the map. The 3rd season of Worth the Hype stars Emmy-winning chef Frankie Salenza as he hits the road to sample the most buzzworthy bites across the country, including stops right here in New Jersey. Joining us this morning is Andrew Christensen, Director of Operations at Blue on the Hudson in Weehawken, one of the restaurants featured on the show. By the way, I've eaten there. Full disclosure, it's right near Whole Foods. So you know where I know what I'm talking about because I've been there. And we say good morning to you, Andrew.
Good morning, Ken. Thank you very much for having me.
You bet. I used to live on River Road years ago, so I used to frequent that area very much, and that's a fabulous area. You got an incredible view of Manhattan, and your food is smack on. Absolutely delicious. I'm so glad they featured you. So tell us about Worth the Hype, and how'd you first find out that you were going to be on?
Yeah, so we got a call from Pepsi, and they said that they wanted to feature us. They were doing a segment on New Jersey. And, you know, there's a lot of traditional restaurants that we have here in New Jersey, but they wanted to do something a little new, a little cutting edge, a little something that New Jersey hasn't really seen from decades past. And so we wanted to bring the new Jersey to the side of the show. And so when, and Tastemade was absolutely fantastic. They came in, it was such a professional team. Frankie was fantastic. I mean, Emma, Katie, all of them from the show, they were great to have here.
Well, that's exciting. You know, I'm a foodie. I used to work in the food business. My dad owned restaurants when I was growing up. Then I branched out and worked for others. And I have a food website called thefooddude.us. Shameless plug. So I speak your language, and I love your energy and everything you're doing there at Blue. And this season features eateries around New Jersey, also in Charleston, in San Antonio, and San Francisco. But New Jersey is key. How important do you think it is for New Jersey to be represented on that list?
I think it's great because New Jersey is doing so many things now that New Jersey is not known for. I mean, you can get probably the best pizza you can in the United States here. You can get the best chicken parmesan in the United States. But when we're doing something like this, where we're bringing fresh seafood, a New York style cuisine to the New Jersey, nobody has seen it before. Not in the level that we're doing it, not with the precision, not with the accuracy, not with the combination of flavors. The talent of our chef team is absolutely incredible. And so we're very blessed.
Yeah, Andrew, you know, I have a number of friends who are restaurateurs throughout northern New Jersey. And the one thing that they've experienced trouble with that you don't necessarily get across the river in Manhattan is you really have to read the room, right? You have to gauge your audience. So I had friends who've opened multiple restaurants in, say, Nutley. You go into Nutley, New Jersey, it feels like an upscale suburb, but then you find out the people in Nutley used to live in Belleville and Newark, and that's not a knock, and they just want pizza and chicken parm. You could give them truffles on pasta, and they won't buy it. They won't buy a $40 entree. But you go to Jersey City, you can get away with it. Hoboken, definitely. And where you are on the water, you're technically Weehawken there, right? So Weehawken.
Right in the middle of Weehawken.
Right. And so you can do that. You can experiment and try the high-end stuff, and you'll find that audience. But how important do you think that is in terms of if somebody wants to be a restaurateur in New Jersey, how important is it that they really read the room?
You know, the level of cuisine that you bring to New Jersey you always want to be cutting edge, but you have to remind yourself when it comes to price point that we're still in New Jersey and that we're not in Manhattan. And so we have to deliver an exceptional value along with high-end cuisine to our guests on a daily basis. So, I mean, we have to be conscious of where we are at all times. And just because we want to fly high and close to the sun doesn't mean we can all the time. So we always have to pull back when it comes to pricing and meeting our guests at their level. We're actually opening another store in Livingston just in the next 2 months. So right on the circle, 277 Eisenhower. And so that's going to be our next taste of something a little bit more inland. And so again, we're going to have to remind ourselves where we are at all times. And we have to deliver to our guests and their expectations.
Yeah, Livingston is a blend because you got Newark right nearby, but at the same time, you have that suburban feel in parts of the city. That's a real tightrope walk. But I hope you do great there. That's exciting that you're stretching out. Yeah, you should. You should be. That's fabulous. And more growth of eateries in New Jersey. Now, this season is also part of, as you mentioned, Pepsi's Local Eats Deserve Pepsi initiative. And how does that partnership help support local restaurants?
What they do is they come in and they help small restaurants with social media, with just awareness in the neighborhood. They help with strategies and really just kind of delivering that backbone essential that a lot of small businesses need to help get off the ground, get the awareness that they need to become successful in the marketplace. So Pepsi has been a great partner with us for the last 10 years. So we have a strong relationship and we're going to continue to build it.
And no knock to Coke. Coke is wonderful, but Pepsi is regional. It's from right across the way there in New York, right? That's their headquarters. PepsiCo in Somers and Purchase, New York. That's where they're from. So we always wish Pepsi well. How do you think the show will impact the businesses featured? Do you think this will be life-changing potentially for some of the businesses?
I hope so, because they are featuring small businesses. And, small businesses often have the hardest start. And so I really hope this is very impactful for a lot of small businesses. For us, I think we've definitely seen an uptake. We have people that come in and they mention the show. And so that's absolutely fantastic for awareness for us.
Yeah, and I'm excited for a channel like Tastemade because people say, what's Tastemade? Tastemade, for those that don't realize, is what's called a fast channel, like our channel is. So if you have Pluto TV, or if you get those the free lineups on Samsung TV, you get all those free channels because people are cutting the cord. They don't want to pay for cable or satellite anymore. Tastemade is an awesome channel that is every bit as good as the other food channel, without me saying their name. I kind of included part of it. And they go out and do these wonderful documentaries and features and game shows involving eateries around the country. So it's exciting to see them getting to this point with a great restaurant like Blue. Well, we're so excited to have you on. We want to see your growth in Livingston as well. Can't wait to check out your new place too. The show is called Worth the Hype. It's seen Wednesdays at 7 Eastern on the Tastemade channel. Andrew Christensen, Director of Operations at Blue on the Hudson in Weehawken. I've eaten there. Check it out. Congratulations on the restaurant being featured on the show. And we thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much, Ken. Thank you.
You bet. Have a great day and happy New Year. Coming up at 8:58, and that is on New Jersey Mornings for this Monday, January 5th, 2026. I'm Ken Rosato. Meteorologist Mike Favetta says it'll be cloudy today. Highs in the mid-30s. Remember, we're daily on Roku, Fire TV, news on Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, Facebook, and X, and now streamed live on Local Now, Substack, Rumble, and Twitch. Just go to twitch.tv/OnNewJersey. If you like what you saw, tell all your friends about us. We'll catch you back here tomorrow morning for our national show starting at 7. Then we come back to the local version on New Jersey Mornings at 8. So we're out America now. Till tomorrow, though, have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.